president planning to withdraw the remaining 2,500 U.S. troops from Afghanistan by September 11th.
We'll do it responsibly, deliberately, and safely.
He just made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
Kabul is falling now.
An elaborate evacuation of American diplomats from the embassy. The Taliban controlled the whole country and all the weapons the U.S. bought for the Afghan army. Afghans are thronging to Kabul's airport, desperate to get on planes and leave the country. There's no screening, no security checks, just force of numbers.
The State Department is telling Americans that they cannot guarantee their safe passage to the airport. We don't even know how many Americans are in Afghanistan right now.
And you hear criticism from the Brits, from Germany, from France.
U.S. Marines trying to help while securing the Kabul airport.
You set a deadline, you pulled troops out, you sent troops back in, and now Marines are dead.
13 U.S. service members, mostly Marines, killed 170 Afghans.
This is going to be a big deal for decades. This is going to be covered as one of the worst catastrophes in American foreign policy history.
Joe Biden created a perfect storm to abandon those who helped us and create another 9/11.
Our adversaries are going to be testing the United States of America after this debacle, whether it's Russia in the Baltics, China in Taiwan, Iran with regard to threatening Israel.
More than 100,000 Russian troops have surrounded Ukraine on 3 sides.
We need to be very aggressive in pushing back against President Putin. So far with this administration, we have seen a doctrine of appeasement.
Russia overnight launched its long-anticipated attack on Ukraine, striking military posts across the country.
Putin's going to deal with strength, and if you don't meet strength with strength, then he will just roll over you.
Putin has been in charge of this situation because he views Joe Biden as being weak.
We have a president that embarrassed the United States with that haphazard withdrawal from Afghanistan, and now our airspace has been violated.
The first question, why would they ever let it get into our airspace in the first place?
And to see Secretary Yellen there bowing down repeatedly in China, it's embarrassing and it's emblematic of this administration.
Israelis woke up today to find their worst nightmares had come true in the form of a massive surprise attack.
They have the right to defend themselves. We are going to stick with them. Hardcore. Period. Full stop.
This administration has flowed more than $100 billion into Iran. $6 billion in ransom for 5 Americans, a policy which many of us said at the time would only lead to more Americans being taken hostage, and we saw tragically on October 7th that proved exactly right.
Vice President Kamala Harris skipped the Prime Minister's address today, speaking instead at a sorority conference in Indiana.
The Israeli military says it recovered the bodies of 6 hostages from an underground tunnel in Gaza.
These hostages were discovered in the tunnels under Rafah. That's where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris put pressure on Israel not to enter for months.
Any major military operation in Rafah would be a huge mistake.
Every time Joe Biden and Kamala Harris put more pressure on Israel, it simply emboldens Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran.
Weakness invites the wolves. And they're not scared of President Biden or Vice President Harris.